guest in this second segment is Kyle Bagnall, the Manager of Historical Programs at the Chippewa Nature Center. Kyle, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, John.
What's the outlook for having a good amount of maple syrup from the CNC sugar bush this year for Maple Syrup Day?
Well, it all depends on the trees, and it already started flowing a little bit here in February, but by the time March rolls around, we always have a good couple of weeks, usually in the middle of the month, and that's when our Maple Syrup Day event is happening.
And you use that syrup for your breakfast on Maple Syrup Day?
We generally don't make enough syrup at the Nature Center to use it for our breakfast, so we get ours from Carncross Sugar Bush up in Clare, and then we use our syrup for donors. People can rent a sap bucket and participate in that program, and donors and fundraising and things like that. So we'll have plenty for the event for sure.
What's the date of the Maple Syrup Day this year? What activities are available at that date?
Sure, it's Saturday, March 19th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pancake breakfast starts at 9 o'clock for members and then continues until 2 o'clock. The public can partake in that from 10 to 2 as well. And then there are many family activities. There are crafts for kids, like making little paper mokucks and playing games and seeing a puppet show and live music. And then there are also demonstrations, like a wood carving group demonstrates, and someone's going to be making maple sugar candy on site, which is always interesting. Jim Miller, who's a traditional craftsman, will come and show his creations, woodland Indian type baskets and woodworking creations and things like that. And of course we'll be making maple syrup. So people can hop on a hay wagon at the visitor center and ride down to our sugar bush, and they can take a hike through the sugar bush. They can see us boiling maple sap into syrup, and they can learn all about the process.
Will you still be collecting sap at that time of the year?
That's probably one of our best times of the year. The middle of March is generally the best weather, when it's above freezing during the day and below freezing at night, and that's when the sap really flows. So yeah, we should have syrup on hand, or sap on hand, and we'll be making syrup during the day.
And the Nature Center store will be open in the main building also?
Yep, the Nature Center store is open in the visitor center as well.
What's the admission for all these activities?
Well, CNC members can get in free, so I encourage everybody to become a member. But for non-member adults, the admission fee to the event is $4. Under 18 is free. And then if you'd like to eat a pancake breakfast, it's $7 for non-members, and that's ages 13 and up. And then $5 for youth, ages 3 to 12. And then members get a slight discount, $6 for adults and $4 for kids.
And what is involved? What is there to eat and drink for the pancake breakfast?
Well, we have pancakes, of course. We hire a pancake man, and he comes with big, huge griddles and makes pancakes there in front of us. And we have sausage and applesauce and milk and coffee, and that's pretty much it.
A complete breakfast. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Could you briefly describe the process of making maple syrup for our audience?
Sure. It's a fantastic time of year because even before it really feels like spring, the trees are waking up. And if you take a little drill, we have a brace and bit, and drill a hole into a sugar maple tree, the sap will start dripping out. So to catch that, we actually tap a metal spile into the tree and hang a bucket on it, and that's how the sap drips out, and we collect it in buckets. Then we take that sap to our sugar house, and where we have a big collecting tank outside, and then it feeds into a tube into our main evaporator pan inside the building. So it takes 40 gallons of sap from a tree to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. So you're going from 2 to 4% sugar out of the tree to 66% sugar. All you're doing is boiling off a whole bunch of water. So that's the process people see. There's 2 different kinds of pans inside. We're fired by wood, and we boil about 8 hours or so to get 1 batch of syrup off, which can be a few gallons, and then we'll filter it, put it in bottles, and then we're good to go.
Now, what other activities are planned for the month of March and possibly even beyond for related to maple syrup?
Sure. So if you missed Maple Syrup Day, you just can't make it out for some reason, we're open every Saturday and Sunday throughout the month of March. The Maple Sugar House is, and that's from 1:30 to 4:30. We don't have the full breadth of activities and a meal like you'd find on Maple Syrup Day, but you can still see the sugar bush in action. You can see the trees being tapped. You can also see the syrup being made in the sugar house. So people are welcome to come out. And then pretty much by April 1st or so, the season comes to an end when the trees start to bud out, and we pull the buckets and shut things down.
And on the sugar house Saturdays and Sundays, that's free admission for
Right, those are free, and general admission to the Nature Center throughout the year is free except for these big special events.
Sure. Well, where can our viewers find more information about any of the activities that you've discussed?
Well, we've got a full program calendar on our website, which is chippewanaturecenter.org, one big long word. We also have a Facebook page, Facebook CNC Midland, and then that's really the best places, or they can call us, which is 631-0830. But it's easiest to go online and look at our whole program calendar.
Well, thank you, Kyle, for your invitation to participate in Chippewa Nature Center's Maple Syrup Festival.